was very resistant to this. What do you mean, my traumas? I don't have any trauma. I thought traumas were only for people who went through awful things, How is your trauma? Here's how it shows up when it's time to market your offers, for example, or your programs. It's going to be time, for example, to do live videos. And then you won't button because you're not sure what to say. You're not sure if it's the right thing to say. You are worried that someone's going to judge you. Someone's going to jump on your comments and say bad things. All the things. And we think it's because it's about the business. But all of this has nothing to do with the business. Most of the stories have been from societal stories, or from the culture you're from, or the country you're from. They belong to you. They belong to your oldest family, right? Or something happened, and then that day that you got rejected, maybe you were 2 because you went, I don't know, you had a little doll and someone made fun of your doll, and you felt that you cannot trust people because when you show what you love the most, what you see is like, if I something I love to people and they laugh at me, then I'm not safe. Then that means I will keep everything for myself. I will never show up.
Hello everybody, welcome to episode 34 of the Dairy Mom podcast. My name is Diana Ade. I am the founder of the Dairy Mom. We inspire, educate and empower mothers who may be struggling to reclaim their dreams or who may have temporarily set aside their ambitions due to the demands of motherhood. On the Dairy Mom podcast, we bring you powerful stories from audacious mothers around the world who defy societal expectations and harness their strength to juggle both roles of motherhood and the pursuit of their personal and professional ambitions successfully. Before we begin today's conversation, I want to say thank you. Thank you to all of our new viewers, our new subscribers, and to all who have been with us from the beginning. I appreciate you all very much. And if you are yet to subscribe to our channel, please do so by hitting the subscribe button. This helps our channel to grow. Today's episode is the second part of our 2-part series, Are You Visible? Today, we are honored to continue our discussions with our online visibility strategist, Angélique Binet, who is right here with me in Canada. Angélique Binet is an online visibility strategist and consultant for women entrepreneurs who want to fall in love with their fear of becoming visible. She's also a best-selling author, a TEDx speaker, podcast host, paid media strategist, and founder of Social Media Love. She's a wife, a mother, and an immigrant who went from living in France to Canada. If you're ready for today's conversation, grab your pens and notebooks and join me as I speak to our special guest.
Here's what I see the women that I help in my programs is that there is a conception that before you are officially the business with the site, with the sales page and all the things, you cannot do anything. And so that's, to me, it's one sign that you're hiding. You're waiting for the website you don't even want a website, but too many women are waiting to have those tools in place before starting to share their message. It takes so much time to build an audience, especially if you want to use the online world. It takes years, right? So we don't want to wait for the perfect timing. And that's something I didn't know. I thought I had to do all the recipes that everybody's giving that are good. They're all good, by the way. It's just your message is already there. So it's always about how could you share it that in a way that feels easy for you. And maybe you don't start in social media. Maybe you really desire to share and you gather 3 or 4 people that you think would be interested, and you do as Paul, where you have discussions. It's like a muscle building, sharing your voice. Or maybe you're a busy mom and the kids are running everywhere when you're in the house. You're like, well, how am I going to do it live, Well, you use your house dynamics in your life. And then what happens, people see that you are so authentic. You know, like whatever is your circumstances right now, this is you now. And if you have a message, we don't want to wait for the website and the sales page and have an offer. Start by sharing whatever is in your mind, and don't keep what you believe inside of you. Like, it's not something that you can do right away because there is so much around imposter syndrome and stuff like that. But believe or borrow my belief that you're gonna flip the coin for them. They're gonna be like, oh my God, I needed to hear this. I'm gonna reach out to you in the DM and say, oh my God, you were in my mind. Did you read my mind? And then you're gonna start to attract people that exactly need what you have to offer, right? That's a tendency that I see. I don't know what to sell. It's just our mind that is trying to make it like perfect. That's a way to stop from doing it, which it works, right? So make it messy. Show who you are, where you are, and give it a try and trust yourself and honor your voice. That would be, and there is always someone watching. I'm coming back to this. There is always someone watching that's gonna receive whatever you have.
There's always someone watching. There's always someone watching. That's where I dropped the pin. That's the core of the message. There's always someone watching. This is really beautiful, and it's an encouragement to everybody out there, especially for mothers, because when we become mothers, you know, the kids, work, everything is just one layer upon the other. But never forget that there's something hidden inside of you that somebody else needs to hear to change their life in a way which you never know. So go out there and then shine. Wow. I want to come to your book, Are You Visible? Can you tell us some things? So I know you addressed this whole thing about the fear, and then you also addressed healing. There are many people dealing with childhood traumas that they haven't healed from. All these are things that can become hidden things that are pulling us back, the limiting beliefs and all that. I want you to tell us something from your book, how you address some of these issues as relates to motherhood, and women in business, and even women in corporate careers as well. How do we navigate that and get to the point where we own our space, where we own this online space, where we master our voice, become and own our authority and inspire others, through our authenticity?
Oh my God, I love this question so much. And I want to start by saying something that might feel uncomfortable for some of you.
Yeah.
We are all trauma ambulant. And whether it's big trauma or small trauma, what is a trauma? Something happened. Most of the time, the thing that happened when we're younger seems they are buried and buried and buried. So we're not even aware of it.
Yes.
And then what happened, the trauma is not what happened. Like, there was an event, but then your body reacted. It was like, I don't want this to happen to me anymore. So you completely changed the way you acted and reacted and responded to situations. So each time there is a situation 30 years later that come up and brings back to your body, my God, this is coming again. So protection mechanism. That's why we hear a lot about perfectionism or comparison. All the things, those behavior we have, especially when it's time to sell and showing up online, the fear of being judged. So many of my clients, they share stories, and my very first trauma that I had to heal, I'm going to share it so that you understand what I mean. So I was very resistant to this. What do you mean, my traumas? I don't have any trauma. I thought traumas were only for people who went through awful things, And we all have trauma, and even happened, and we had to change our behavior. Yeah. And then we are dragging that since we're 0 years old or even before. Apparently, when you're in the womb of your mom, you already collect all of it. So you drag those those events that happen to you, and you change your definition of who you are in the world change, and now you protect yourself so that never again it happens. And so for me, the very first time that I let myself to go there, and we do a lot of child release practices in my work when we start visibility work. It's like, when you want to do a live, a lot of the women that I work with, they say, I don't know what to say. I feel kind of ashamed because I don't look how I want to look. How is your trauma? Here's how it shows up when it's time to market your offers, for example, or your programs. It's going to be time, for example, to do live videos. And then you won't button because you're not sure what to say. You're not sure if it's the right thing to say. You are worried that someone's gonna judge you. Someone's gonna jump on your comments and say bad things. All the things. And we think it's because it's about the business. But all of this has nothing to do with the business. Most of those stories have been from societal stories, or from the culture you're from, or the country you're from. That belong to you. They belong to maybe your oldest family, right? Or something happened, and then that day that you got rejected, maybe you were 2 because you went, I don't know, you had a little doll and someone made fun of your doll, and you felt that you cannot trust people because when you show what you love the most, you don't think like that. But what you see is like, if I try something I love to people and they laugh at me, then I'm not safe.
Yeah.
Then that means I will keep everything for myself. I will never show up.
Yeah.
That's just one example. For me, the very first time I got to open myself to heal my traumas is like, when is the first time that we call that in my program, we call that emotional addictions. I was spending a lot of time in shame in my life and guilt, especially as a mom, because I was building the business and I was like, I'm not spending enough time with my kid. So I decided that I would bring me everywhere. I was working in cafes a lot at that season of my life. So I would take him every Saturday. Like, we would be in a coffee shop, I would be building the business, he would be building the Legos on the table. So I had a lot of shame and guilt around being a mom, and how do you split your time between the business, the mom job, and then the partner job. So I can share with you a story that I'm still, amazed or resistant with the idea of traumas and but when I started to really open myself to the healing process and accept that we all have trauma, I wanted to explore what was the thing that kept me still I was very visible online, but I could feel that I was not that authentic. I wanted to be even more transparent, because I think when you're true to yourself before you are true to them, actually you have to be so true with. And so I started to do more inner child release practices on myself with people who were practitioners of the work. And then the very first time because I was feeling a lot of shame at the time as a mom, spending a lot of time doing this and not enough time with my son. Like, I had a lot of shame things. Shame also about being a fraud online, like all the things that we all go through. And one of the exercises brought me back to when I was 2. And I was like, what is that? What happened to me when I was 2? And it was as simple as this. I was in kindergarten, and I didn't remember that until that day. But what happened that I was 2, and then friends to go to kindergarten very early. And I remember that day that we were all around a table, like we were maybe 20 kids, and suddenly I am losing it, I'm pooping in my mouth. And I wanted nobody to know so much shame that day. Yeah. And then the teacher, of course, she figured it out, and she said in front of everybody, who went to the bathroom? And I didn't want to get up. I remember, and then that kind of, and then from that day, I've learned that I'm not safe. I am not enough. Like, I'm not even able to be in a classroom without pooping everywhere of everybody. Yeah. So that day, I changed, and I think I had layers and layers that I dragged with me until a few years ago, when I started to kind of really go and heal some parts of me that were still, holding back from those days. So that's just an example of you how benign it can look from the outside. We all know here, we know that pooping in your pants happens.
Especially at the age of 2. Especially at the age of 2. I mean, wow.
Yeah, exactly. And that's how I started to understand how we shape our identity very early in life. And we make it mean something about us, about the world we live in, and we adapt our behavior. And then that shows up when it's time to do a Facebook Live, a post. The body is like, oh my God, what if I screw it up? So those are things that have nothing to do with business. And that was a very small example, but there are ways. And if you read my book, I spend more time around the money trauma as well. A lot of women I work with, including me, I had to work and heal and still do heal my money story. Relationship to selling, to receiving money, to pricing your offer. All that has nothing to do with your business. It is coming from who've been, the identity you've been building year over year, protecting yourself from situations where you felt at risk, that your nervous system is like, no, we're not going there anymore. We're going to put armor. And then you're going to pretend you're perfect. You won't move until the landing page is perfect. And then perfection is just a stopper, right? If you want to be perfect, you will never post because there is no perfection. So it's just interesting to start to open your eyes to the fact that whatever is stopping you in your revenue, in your business, your visibility in your business, probably just because you need to do a little bit of healing about yourself. And it doesn't have to be dramatic. That's what I didn't know. And that's what I've discovered. That's why I got trained in trauma-informed practice, so that I can really help my clients to unlock that in them. And then that's when they start to, really grow their business, because they're very clear and they see who they are inside of themselves, and they heal and they forgive themselves and they grow, right? And they start to their emotions. That's another thing we didn't talk about, that we've never been taught to feel our feelings, especially as a little girl. Why are you crying? Go to your room. You're too loud. You're just a kid. And so it comes back and shape your identity. And so when you start to remove the layer and undo all of that, this is when you become fully expressed, and you start really embodying the woman who doesn't really care about what others are thinking about her, because she believes she's anchored in her voice, in her message, in her impact in the world. And then you start posting from the heart, not from I have to post because it's good for my business.
Angélique, this is so empowering. Like this is so empowering. You've touched on many things that are like super important. When we heal, we are able to now begin to show up authentically, and then we can post authentically. Where can we find you? Where can we find your books, your TEDx talk, everything? Let us know, because I'm sure people would want to reach out and then have you help them on their own healing journeys, and then helping them also to become more visible.
Okay. So I gathered everything together. One thing that I call my bundle, it's called Social Media Love Essentials.com. And basically, when you get in there, it gives you access to my TEDx. You don't have to search for it. If you want to book, it's on Amazon, and you have the link directly there, and then access to my podcast. The reason why I did a TEDx is not because I did TEDx. It's really because I've done the work and still do. It's something you do until the end of life. The work, and that's what I want to share in the book. I share more about that, like how do you go keep your dream alive and make it happen, no matter the external circumstances. So if you're if you want to really deep dive more into that, that's the best way to do it, and grab that and tell me what you think. I want to communicate with you, because I love to hear from women. Sometimes they come to me in a DM and say, thank age 67, you said this. And I'm like grabbing my book. What did I say? And I love it. So please reach out. Share with me your experience.
Because you forgot what was in page 67. Was in page 67. Angélique, thank you so much for coming to the show. I want to say thank you. That I hope to connect with you again in the future. Thank you so much for today.
Thank you so much. It was such a pleasure.
Thank you. We'll definitely connect again some other time.
Oh yeah. Now we're connected for life.
For life. Wow, what a powerful conclusion to our two-part series, Are You Visible? Angélique made a very powerful statement. She said, when we heal, we can post and engage authentically. I find this so beautiful and true, as well as empowering. I really hope you took out something from Angélique's story. Let us know your thoughts about this interview in the comment section below. Thank you so much for joining us today. Next week, we'll bring you another impactful episode from another mother. Be sure not to miss it. We want to thank you all for staying with us up until this point. If you want to connect with Angélique, you'll find her on all social media platforms at Angélique Binet. You also find the links to her pages in the description of this video. If you want to follow The Dairy Mom, you can find us on LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and of course YouTube at The Dairy Mom. On Instagram, you find us at @The Dairy Mom. Thank you so much for joining us once again. And as we wrap up, my question to you is, what is your hashtag The Dairy Mom story? Join me and let's do this together. My name is Diana Adair and I am The Dairy Mom.